Hello, Massive Forehead here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we should be counting down top 10 Fakemon and fan-made Pokemon that have been created by awesome artists. If you'd like to have your work featured in future videos, simply just follow me on Twitter and send me your awesome work there, or join my Discord in the link in the description down below. Also, make sure to check out all these designers in their links in the description down below, guys. Now let's get started with number 10. So to kick off this list with number 10, we have a design made by Dark and Windy, who created this awesome Fakemon called Char, or Char. Now, this is a Pokemon that is known as the Blade Pokemon. I can't deny that this thing has quite a beautiful design, and also really badass design going into it. It also has an evolution called Bladinsky, which has a similar design to it, which is also badass and pretty cool. And as for the overall concept for this Pokemon, it's pretty clear. It's a dark type of blade user that has large blades growing out of its arms, which it then uses to kind of defend itself with, and they work kind of like sickles. Now, these Pokemon have scars that act as signs of respect for others. And I've got to say, I really love this design, and it's going to be the first one on this list. Now, let's go to the next one. Now, coming up next is going to be the number 9 spot, and now is another Fakemon design created by Dark and Windy, and this one is called Jawar Ik. Now, this is essentially a shark Pokemon. It has two more evolutions by the names of Piercock, and which is based essentially on a hammerhead shark, and Melisiarch, which is based on the Megalodon shark, which I freaking think is badass. Now, as for Jawar Ik, it is essentially based on the Pygmy shark, which is a sort of dwarf shark that doesn't grow beyond 28 centimeters. It's a very small shark, essentially. It's very small, and it doesn't really grow too big. It's very tiny, so to say. And I think this is a pretty awesome combination of Pokemon to have and kind of things to base them on, because the evolution increases in a perfect way. Having the unevolved stage being a sort of dwarf shark, and then a final one being Megalodon, like the largest shark of all time, is sort of a nice way of evolving this Pokemon, as a creature. I think it's pretty awesome, and I love that behind it. And as someone who's a fan of sharks, I would love to see this as an actual Pokemon in an actual game. What do you guys say? Would you love to see this Pokemon? I know I would. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, next up is another design by Dark and Windy, and this is Kazon, which is essentially the ocean Pokemon. You can kind of see that from the design. When you first lay your eyes on it, you may sort of see a hint of a stormy feeling to it, which is what I kind of felt. Now, as for the design of this Fakemon, Dark and Windy pointed out that he went for the mythical creature or god, I guess, known as Susanoo no Mikoto, and a wolf together into one, and that is essentially how he created Kazon. I personally find this to be a pretty lovely and beautiful Fakemon that actually would fit really well in a legendary trio, which it actually does. So if you check out the other two wolves that he created for this legendary trio on his page, you can check it down below, the Dark and Windy made. There's going to be a link to all the pages that and all the Fakemons and creatures I'm showing in this video will be linked down below, so check them out. Either way, let's go to the next one. Now, next up is a very cute design made by Yamosuke, which is called Cutie, which is a fairy fire type that is based on a hummingbird, I would assume, with the name. Now, I can't stress how much I love the soft colors and the cute design of this. It really just shines when you look at it. It also has two evolutions, being High, which is similar in design but slightly larger, and then Noble Sky, which has a pretty cool name, being Noble and Sky, which is exponentially larger in design and is got kind of a similar style to it throughout, so all the evolutions are very similar. The unevolved state, the first evolution, the second evolution, very similar in design. I overall like the concept of a hummingbird Pokemon, or rather Fakemon, whatever you want to call it, and I wouldn't mind having one of these in a team of mine in the future. I would think it would be pretty darn awesome. So let me know in the comments, guys. What do you think about that? Now, next up is this creative design by Sun Fished, who created a Fakemon called Quickclaw, and its evolution being called Outclaw. Now, I have to say, these names are awesome puns. Like, you'll get it when you look at these designs. So as for the design of these Pokemon, or Fakemon, they're essentially crabs. That's the easy way, to explain it. They're crabs, and their claws work as some sort of weapon, it looks like. They have smoke coming out of them, so I assume there's some sort of weapon there. And the funniest part about these two is that Quickclaws follow the orders of Outclaws, who essentially order them to steal food from unsuspecting passerbys. And having the names being Quickclaw and Outclaw, which mixes, Quick and Claw into one, and then having, the item Quick Claw existing, in the actual Pokemon world, and then having Outclaw being the words Outlaw and Claw is just pun heaven. I love it. I think it's awesome. And now we're going to move on to the next one. And now on the 5th spot, we have ourselves Sherrod. Another awesome design by Dark and Windy, and this is the small Byrne Pokemon, a creature that is a fire type and that loves to live essentially in a bunch of, groups, which is fantastic. It is based on the marbled Polecat, which is essentially a thing that you can find, or rather a creature you can find, in parts of Asia and some parts of the Middle East, and I think in small areas of Europe you can actually find this creature. Now, it's quite an interesting animal because its fur is both dark and almost orangish, which you can also see in the kind of reflected in the design of Char. Now, it does have two evolutions, being Vormelta, which actually changes the top part of its fur into white, and then Flugusnoa, which is actually really weird because it changes it in a drastic way and gives it a ghost typing. And when you look at the design itself, it actually changes around to be a hovering Pokemon, and it also has the bottom part of it changed to purple, and it keeps like kind of a white design on the top of the body, which is really weird, but I love the design. I think it's a cool concept, and I think it deserves to be at the spot it is on this list. I think it's really awesome. Now let's go to the next one on the list. Now, next up is a design by Indigo Blackbird called Murmur Set, which is known as the Serene Pokemon. It is described as being a Pokemon that handles things in its own tempo and does things in its own pace, which gives it the ability Own Tempo, which essentially makes this Pokemon kind of impossible to confuse. Essentially, it can't be confused, so that's pretty awesome. And I've got to say though, I love what it's based on. So what it is based on actually is the Murmur Set monkeys and marmots, which are honestly the most adorable things you'll ever see. These are like essentially these tiny little monkeys which you may have seen, which can essentially fit on a single finger on a human, and it is so adorable. They are so tiny, they're really cute, and I would love to see this sort of thing in an actual Pokemon game, because I'd love to have a tiny little monkey Pokemon that could literally sit on my finger. That would be so adorable. Though I do not know really how effective it would be in battle, but still I think it would be adorable and nice to have. So let's go to the next one on the list. Now, next up is the awesome design, once again, by Indigo Blackbird, and this one is called the Delphine, the Playful Pokemon, and oh my lord, I have been asking for this sort of thing for ages. Now, for those who do not know, I am the biggest fan of dolphins. I think they are awesome, and I find them to be the greatest creatures of all time. Now, having a Pokemon that's based on a dolphin would be freaking fantastic, and here you have one, and I would love to see this as a real Pokemon in the future, but let's get back on track. This Pokemon has, or rather this Fakemon, has two forms. One is the saltwater form, which is the blue one, and this one can be found in the sea, and it essentially has the design that gives it a bigger dorsal fin and a smaller snout, so it is pretty adorable. I love it. And then you have the other one, which is the freshwater form, which is the pink bottom one, and it can be found in lakes and rivers, and it has a pink color as well as a smaller dorsal fin as well as a longer snout. Honestly, I don't have much else to say beyond that. I love this. I freaking love this design. I think it is awesome, and I would love to see more concepts in designs for Dolphin Fakemon, and especially from Indigo Blackbird, because I love this stuff. Let's go to the next one on the list. Now, I'm going to do number 1 and number 2 pretty close to each other because they're essentially in the same image here, so keep that in mind as you're watching this one. Now, the first one here is actually on the same image, and it's the number 2 spot, and then you have also the number 1 spot in the same image here, but we'll start up with the first one, which is the Fire Rock type Fakemon made by the Skywolf 27, who also made the number 1 spot. But this is a creature that I freaking love because I love this, and I've got to give major props. The concept behind this Fakemon essentially is really weird. It looks like a dino sort of, and has elements of lava and of sort of a molten core design, and I freaking adore that. That is just awesome. And overall, it looks as if it has a mane made out of fire, I think. I mean, I'm not really certain, but if that is a mane made out of fire, that is bloody awesome. I just cannot stress enough how much I love that. And then, of course, you know, it just looks badass. It's like a dino lava monster, and I love that. And then right next to it, on the number 1 spot, you have yourself another Fakemon, which is very similar in design, but instead this one is a grass dragon type, which almost has a moth feeling to it, I've got to say, and has these lovely leaves that just like flow around it, and it looks quite majestic. And if I may say so myself, I think this is a beautiful Pokemon. And yeah, that would be the number 1 spot, lads. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like down below. Show some love to that subscribe button as well for future videos. It would, you know, help out quite a lot. Take us closer to that 100,000 subscribers. And thanks again for watching, guys. I really appreciate that. If you want to submit your own Fakemon creations, go find me on Twitter or join my Discord in the link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. You can check out all these designs to the original creators in the description down below. Go right down there and check them out. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Murmur Set. Have a good one, and bye-bye.